Hey there, you are looking live at our split studios. This is Fantasy Baseball Now. I don't know what just happened. Episode 92. Episode 92 is here for our show, part of the ball9.com podcast network. Summer is here, the sun is hot, and the Yankees are officially dead. On tonight's show, that was not part of our pre-show meeting. The Bald Brigade will look at 5 players who have overachieved through the season's first half and 5 who have pretty much sucked, and which players will either continue the career year or regress, and which guys will rebound in the second half or continue their disaster of a season. All that, along with who's not, who to get and cut, with a look at under the radar 2-star pitchers for next week and what teams have the better hitting matchups on the way next week. Cam Schlittler, you can go ahead and throw that out there. Mike, how are you?
Important safety tip pre-play for any of you that are doing a podcast. What I would say to you is, here's something to take into consideration. Don't have a deep life conversation when there's 12 seconds left before the fucking show starts, because it's not good. Here we are at episode 93. Before we do what we always do, which is get sidetracked by the meaningless bullshit that you and I talk about most of the time. We are episode 93, amazingly episode 93. But follow us on all our socials, Fantasy Base B now on the X, formerly known as Twitter, on our YouTube channel at ball9.com. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. That would be awesome if you could do that. We're growing and growing, which is pretty cool. We got a lot of exciting stuff going on that we'll announce as it actually happens. But I'm good. And as I said in Yankee World on Sunday night, I remember a time in my lifetime that a 4-game sweep to the Red Sox got people fucking fired.
Not now. Lifetime.
No, not now. Not now. So they're working on making it 6, which is great. And this June swoon thing, which is everybody's like, oh, this happens every June. How about let's try this? Well, 2 things. Fuck that. And at least I'm not a Mets fan.
There you go.
At least I'm not. Hello, Bob. At least I'm not a Mets fan. Losing 9-10. They trade David Peterson, who I unceremoniously said you should cut about.
Say hi and then go.
Is that Liam?
That's Liam.
Hello, Liam. Liam, you need to listen to this song. Alex, you need to listen to Alice Cooper, School's Out Forever.
He'll keep that in mind when he's in the pool again tomorrow when it's 98 degrees out.
Oh, yeah, it's going to get hot in the East Coast.
Yeah,
so the April 7th show, I said to cut David Peterson, not the Mets. They just kept trotting him out there. He gets completely obliterated. They trade him to the Cubs, and David Peterson's back to being all-star David Peterson, because guess what? He got the get-out-of-jail-free card because he got out of that hell show that's in the Bronx. Yeah, I'm glad I'm not a German soccer fan too, Bob. My God. My goodness gracious.
Tough day for the Ivory Coast as well.
Dude, I'm only focused on I've probably watched 2,500 minutes of friggin' World Cup, including both games today, and an epic match last night, which could be a semifinal in most World Cups between the Netherlands and Morocco. And my daughter Margaret keeps saying, "Who do you want to win this match?" I'm like, you know what, Margaret? We're in a round of 32 where every game's your last game. I only care about one team right now, only one team, and that is the United States of America. As we go on a little run tomorrow night, when I'm in a pub, my favorite pub, with about 350 other soccer fans rooting again.
What time is that game tomorrow?
That game is at 8 p.m.
Oh, I got a chance to watch some of it.
So if anybody's on here and you want me on Thursday, give me till noon.
All right.
Because it's going to be a bit. But So since we're all over the place, let's go all over the place and let's actually really focus.
And dial in, as it were.
We did this for a little big man. We did this earlier in the season where we looked at players that were overperforming their ADP and players that were underperforming their ADP. So we each took both sides and decided to talk about the both sides, and our 5 underachievers, and then I'll let you talk about each of the 5. Framber Valdez, Gino Suarez, the guy covering his mouth trying to hide, Vlad Guerrero, Fernando Tatis Jr., who inexplicably is the number 1 rated second baseman on CBS, and the big crapper. He only needs 52 more home runs to equal last year's total, and it's June 30th. So we'll see how that works out.
Yeah. Here's the thing with Raleigh. I put him on there. I tried to kind of stay away from guys who've gotten hurt for extended periods of time. We said it in the beginning of the year in the offseason, he's not going to hit 60 again. He's not going to. 40 would be an incredible comeback for that.
Yeah, agreed.
It doesn't happen. All right. But I think he'll get better. He's got to get better. I mean, can you bat worse than 165 the rest of the way? He's been a good source of power. You're going to have to really be patient, though. I would bench Probably the guy and let him work his way out. You know, in our league, unstoppable as Dylan Dingler, who I made an inquiry on tonight, because he has Raleigh on the bench. I think he'll help you at some point, but you can't play him right now. It's just unbelievably bad. But it's funny. Suarez made it barely over Austin Riley. 2 guys you really just expected. Austin Riley was the big rebound candidate. He was hurt last year, but he hasn't been good in a while. But Suarez, 208, but 8 home runs. You just wouldn't expect that from a guy that's got 40 home run potential all over the place in that ballpark.
I was higher on Riley only because of the bounce back. I expected Gino in that ballpark, in that lineup. Now he did get hurt, but in that lineup, in the ballpark, in the lineup, to have a similar year to that he had last year.
Yeah. He's never going to give you a ton of batting average, but if he's getting 40 home runs, who cares? You know, and honest to God, and the other guy that I was going to put on this list, but we cut it at 5, was Freddie Peralta, because he's been a disaster in New York.
He's been a horror show. But nobody wants to get traded more in baseball than that guy, and he's pitching like he wants to get traded.
Then
he sees what David Peterson did, and he's like, I got to get out of here.
Has Framber Valdez been the same since he crossed up his catcher on purpose and hit him in the chest?
He hasn't been the same since him and AJ Hinch went toe to toe.
I mean, he's been terrible. He was preseason ranked 79th, and he's 358 right now. ERA over 4, 1.33 whip. That's just awful. But the 2 guys on this list, Vlad Guerrero, Fernando Tatis, they entered this week combined with 7 home runs. Just logic dictates they both turn it around. Tatis is still ranked high because he's got 19 steals. But that's it. 30 RBIs, 35 runs, not enough. Guerrero, 34 RBIs. He's on pace for 7 homers and 65 RBIs.
That's not a $232 million contract guy. That's for goddamn sure.
You know, he wasn't great last year until about the second week of June, and then he got it going the rest of the year. And I thought he was going to carry over that playoff success he had into this year. And I can't believe how far the star has fallen for him. And for Tatis, this is Tatis's age 27 year. This is the year that guys usually go nuts.
This is the year they win an MVP.
Yeah.
So Andrew DeKegley, who I follow on the application formerly known as Twitter, posted 5 underperformers. Raleigh and Vlad were on there, and I said Ed, Framber, and Gino, and Tropical Days Chain said no one thought those 2 were going to be good, let alone value. So my response was, no one thought they were going to be good. 1,640 NFBC league drafts. Framber ADP 89.5, Suarez 99.31. So nobody thought they were going to be good, but yet they were drafted in the 8th or 9th round in every friggin' open draft that there was in a 12 team draft. Yep. Even in a 10-team draft, they were 8 or 9. Everybody thought they were going to be good, and I thought we both were in that Raleigh was not going to have the year that he had last year. Neither of us thought that this was going to be the result.
Not this bad.
We were both high on Vladdy. We were both high on Tatis. I liked Riley because of a huge bounce back, but we were both probably expecting Gino to have the same year they had last year. We were both high on Valdez because it was a fallback chip if they had to trade Skubal.
Yes, they were supposed to piggyback and be a great tandem. Skubal gets hurt. Valdez sucks. I mean, that's part of.
He's pitching like he signed with the Orioles, who were supposed to sign him in first base. Starters go to die in Baltimore.
You see anybody here that if you had to pick one, is it Tatis? Got to be Tatis, right? He is hitting 283.
I mean, he's the number. He is probably the number one second baseman for Dynasty. The fact that he's at second base, he's still incredibly valuable. His average isn't awful. He's not hitting for power, though. That's starting to come a little bit. But they don't score runs, so that's a huge problem. Probably of all these guys, the guy that's most disappointing is Vlad. Honestly, he's the most disappointing. I would trade for him. I'd buy low on him in a minute if I had a chance to, but because the average is still there. Like the average is still there. He's just not hitting for power. And that lineup is a mess. The Blue Jays have woefully underachieved to this point. And we're going to talk about one of the reasons why coming up on Who's Cold, but
all right.
Yeah, that's a lot of high draft capital right there for guys that aren't paying you back.
All right. Now, how about the guys who will they keep it going? You may intro this.
That's a tremendous question. I'm going to go in reverse order of ADP. So Otto Lopez, he was 212 for ADP, which is still pretty good. But 333 with 7 homers, 37 RBIs, 53 runs scored, and 16 stolen bases. And he's still only the 11th ranked shortstop on CBS Sports. But, man, he was an afterthought pick. He was not – people were reaching. We were reaching if we didn't get the top 6 or 7. He wasn't somebody that everybody was – sorry about that. I should have never done that. But he's winning your league in a bunch of categories if you have him.
Here's the thing with Otto Lopez. He's on my team. He's on my team because Jackson Holiday was hurt. I cycled through a couple of second basemen that were dog shit. Yeah. And Otto Lopez got off to a good start, and he was still second base eligible for a while. I picked him up. He's ranked 14th right now in CBS. He's blown away every expectations. I traded Gunnar Henderson because I had to move Lopez to shortstop, and I'm like, I'll ride with Otto Lopez this year. So far, I'm right.
And I mean, and just for context, I mean, we're 20 games played, and if you don't play 20 games at your last year's position, you got to move to your new position. But in a large majority of leagues, he's second base and shortstop eligible. So if you have if you have a middle infielder, he's 3 position eligible for you. And to have those numbers at 3 position eligible at a 212 ADP, holy mackerel. Like that's a big win pick. That's a massive upside pick. Braxton Ashcraft got a lot. Ashcraft got a lot of love in the pre-draft world, a lot, and he's still 275, 8-3, 1.08 WHIP, 3.33 ERA, which is a little high, 115 Ks and 102 2/3 innings. He's starter 2 right now, the way he's pitching.
Yeah.
Like he's starter 2. Like he's in all 5 of these guys, maybe except for Liam Hicks, could easily make the All-Star team. And nobody thought that before the season started. Jordan Walker, who we've been waiting for forever, and most of us, including me, wrote him off. He was 345 ADP, and I think that was like sympathy. Maybe he'll break out this year. I mean, 79 games, hit 290, 18 homers, 58 RBIs, and 47 runs scored with 10 stolen bases. I mean, he's on pace for 35, 20, 100 RBIs and 100 runs scored at 290 in the outfield. And how he's the 12th ranked outfielder right now is beyond me, because and it might be recency bias because he's in a little bit of a slump. But man, what a breakout for him. When we were all over his numbers compared to Kyle Tucker's, it's a joke. It's a joke. Like Kyle Tucker could have been easily on your list. Easily.
Absolutely. Well, especially when you factor in the amount of money he makes. He's one of the most overrated guys in fantasy baseball and has been for years.
And then Kyle Harrison, as we get into the guys that could be on the Red Sox and make them not the worst team in baseball. He's 8-1. He's starting pitcher 23, CBS 23. That's pretty good. 2.57 ERA, 96 Ks and 71 innings. He was 439 ADP. And wow. I was all over him before the season started. I traded him in our big league, but in my other 3 leagues, I own Kyle Harrison, and he's done nothing to disappoint me for that at all. And then last, and certainly absolutely not least, and I think he's supposed to be activated for today's game, Liam Hicks, former Red Sox. He's played 73 games. He's hitting 278. He's got 13 homers, 53 RBIs, 40 runs. His strikeout to walk ratio is 1-1. It's like 29-28. So he doesn't really strike out. He doesn't really walk. But he doesn't strike out. So he makes contact. His ADP was 1,073. And I didn't look up Agustin Ramirez because we were all over Agustin Ramirez. All of us. Everybody in this world. Agustin Ramirez, who's now in AAA. Joe Mack got called up. He's now in AAA. He didn't get called up when Hicks got hurt. Nobody thought about Liam Hicks for a minute. Is he going to keep this going? I very much doubt it. And even with an injury stint, he's the 10th ranked catcher on CBS. Like usually when you're hurt, you drop like a stone. So maybe he was 2 or 3, and now he's 10. Like it's, and if he didn't get hurt, he probably would be the backup catcher in the All-Star game.
I don't see a regression from any of these guys.
I am most skeptical about the pitchers because I'm always skeptical about what they're going to do in the second half.
Second half innings pile up. I could see that.
But Ashcraft added a wrinkle to the Pirates that I don't think they were thinking about. I think they were hopeful he'd be a 4-5. He's a clear 2 in Pittsburgh, and that's an unbelievable stat. I mean, that's and they got help coming, like major help coming.
By the way, it looks like Wilson Contreras is in another dust up. I see benches potentially empty here out in Fenway.
He's a pot stirrer, that Wilson Contreras.
He struck out looking and apparently took offense to whatever the pitcher reacted to.
He clearly in the Contreras family, William was the good son and Wilson was the one that their parents had to friggin' wring their hands about all the time.
Yeah.
Clearly.
He charged it. I'm sorry to interrupt you. He charged at Cade Cavalli. Somebody said something to him and he lost his shit just now. Wow.
Cade Cavalli confronted somebody. Well, good for him.
He threw his helmet.
Those pesky
hit a teammate. Sorry.
Those pesky Red Sox. It warms my heart that they sweep the Yankees and then all their fans are going to be back to all in. We're only 4.5 out of the wild card on a bad baseball team. They're just a bad baseball team.
Shall we go to Who's Hot? Did you nominate the Red Sox this week for Who's Not or Who's Hot after that 4-game sweep over the weekend?
I didn't. No. When the Yankees get 9 hits in a 4-game series, it's kind of hard to say they're hot. And and if anybody that's been paying attention to this show, I ain't putting fucking Sonny Gray on anything. The only thing hot about Sonny Gray is me under the collar from that, knowing that he's still playing baseball.
There you go. Anyway, on that segue, here's Who's Hot. Would you care to lead off, my friend? You got to unmute that thing.
Technical difficulties.
There we go.
I can't multitask. I can't look at 3 screens, a piece of paper, and my microphone at the same time.
And because make sure you have enough ice in your drink.
And I got too much blood in my alcohol system. On June 9th, you, my friend, said cut Dansby Swanson.
Yes, I did.
And clearly Dansby Swanson watches the show.
Sure. Who doesn't?
Because since then, 289, 4 homers, 18 RBIs. 18. Not a typo, not a misprint, not me misspeaking. 10 runs scored and 4 stolen bases.
What are you getting?
That amazing effort has raised his average all the way to 195 with 11 homers and 46 RBIs and 49 runs scored. A third of his productivity happened in the last 2 weeks.
It happened in one day.
Well, 9 of it happened in one day. He had a day of days. He's still 73% owned. He's only 55% started. He's going to go back to being Dansby Swanson. I mean, he catches everything, but man, you don't get a hell of a lot hotter than that. That's just torrid.
Yeah, about time. You just got to get over that 200 line.
Your guy was my immediate first choice off the top of my head, just based on watching the Nats box scores the last 2 or 3 days.
My guy right now is Wilson Contreras, because that guy's involved in a kerfuffle almost every day now. There's an opponent or an umpire. But I digress.
He tapped his helmet sarcastically and got kicked out, which is bullshit, Frank. Oh no, I'm sorry. Let me use a baseball term. Horse shit. That's a horse. That's
very good. So Luis Garcia is only owned in 67% of leagues, started in 54. His last 21, CBS ranked number 3, 356, 15 runs, 9 homers, 18 RBIs. On a team, if they could pitch, it would to me be a legit playoff contender with the way they can hit.
Well, they can absolutely hit. I think part of the challenge with him is, if you're in a league like ours where games played in this season it impacts whether you can roster him or not.
Yeah,
he's a first baseman. But if you're in a league where he was a second baseman last year, given that second base is a little dicey to say the least,
yeah,
he'd be a prime second baseman to have.
Well, like we always say, go get the stats when they're available.
Exactly. That's exactly right.
Okay. And who is cold? Who is not hot? Let's find out. Roll the tape. I don't know what's going on there.
We just wanted the effect. The effects. I'm going to let you go first while I do a little.
Sure.
While I do a little past research.
Yes, Jaron Duran did get the big hit Sunday to complete the sweep, but last 21 days he's ranked 603rd in CBS. He is owned in 96% of leagues, which I get, 74% of leagues, which I don't get. Last 21 games, hitting 159 with 2 homers, 6 runs, 6 RBIs, and a steal. Not lineup worthy for now. I still like Duran as a player, but I would like him better on my bench until those stats come up. It's a weird thing. Maybe he needs to change the scenery. I know Boston would like to move somebody out of that outfield.
He 100% needs to change the scenery. Yeah. They should have done him a favor when they were talking about trading him and actually done it. I thought I had him on my cut list earlier this year, but I did not. Because I couldn't have traded that guy fast enough because he just doesn't. He's not 2 years ago, Jaron Duran. And I do think, I mean, he's still a super talented player, but I do think that when they were talking about trading him in the offseason, that they would have done him a favor if they did. I think they would have done him a favor. I mean, that lineup's not great anyway, but he's way too many offers. They make you pull your hair out. And like if you're in a daily league where you got to play him on a day, where you get to make lineup changes on a daily basis, it's really hard to put him in. And in a weekly league, it's even harder.
Yeah,
because he's not gotten on it. He's had one little tiny streak where he's had 2 or 3 games in a row where he's been productive.
Yep.
And the rest of the time, he's been kind of middling. And then Kevin Gausman, my God, first of all, fuck him anyway. I'd never have him on my team. Still 96% owned, still 61% started. And I get why. He's a 1.49 whip guy. He's a 4.36 ERA guy. He's a little less than 1-to-1 K per strikeout per inning. But his last 2 starts, he threw a total of 8 innings in his last 2 starts. And he did have 7 Ks in those 8 innings. But a 14.62 ERA and a 2.88 whip, that's not good. Like lit up, like you can't believe he got lit up. And and Dylan Cease has not been a lot better. And when you look at the Blue Jays, if you look at the Blue Jays last year, their pitching was really good, and then they got a lot of timely hits. Yeah. Their pitching is so-so this year, and they're getting no timely hits. Like it's kind of hard to tie a game in the 8th inning when you're down 4-1. Because they're not hitting home runs, obviously, based on the fact how we talked about Vlad. So, yeah, Gausman's definitely not hot. And he's 38 years old, so maybe,
Father Time is undefeated.
Yeah, I mean, he's young to me, but, like, for baseball, he's not.
Yeah.
Still hanging around. Still making a lot of money.
Who should we go get? Let's go.
Well, I'm going to let you go. I'm going to let you go first.
I'll go first because all you need to know is one stat in the last 2 starts on Tatsuya Ame. Owned in 63% of leagues, started in 27. His ERA is terrible. His whip is terrible. In his last 2 starts, 21 strikeouts, 10, and then he came back with 11 in his last start. That's worth a spot on my bench to at least see. Maybe he's one of those guys. Maybe it took him a little time to get acclimated. New league, new country, new everything. And maybe now he's settling in. It was kind of tough. I had to cut some pitchers on my bench I really liked, but given his upside and the way he as highly touted as he was when he arrived in Houston, I figured those strikeouts might be an indicator that a big second half is in line for him.
So he came back from being injured. His first time out, not so great. And then he was kind of moving along. And I needed a starter in another league, and I picked him up. And he rewarded me with 2/3 of an inning, 4 hits, 5 runs, a walk, and a strikeout. And I'm going to tell you, of all teams against the Royals, and I will never, under any circumstances, have that asshole on my team again. It'll never happen. I hope he's great. I'm not rooting against him, but what I am is I'm rooting for me, and that guy's never going to be on my roster again.
Congratulations.
Never
you shouldn't hold a grudge.
No, well, except for the fact that I hold a grudge. And then for me, it's Elliot Ramos, who got activated yesterday and homered. And on a year, I mean, he's hitting 267, 5 homers, 21 RBIs, 21 runs, doesn't steal any bases. But he's only 39% owned, and there's many, many worse outfielders that are floating around and on your roster that dropping one of those guys that you think might actually be better at some point in time versus a guy that like 267, 20 homers, 60 RBI, 60 runs scored. He plays every single day. Third, fourth outfielder, utility guy, second utility guy. You can't. I mean, to me, he's a you can't go wrong guy.
Yep.
Especially when the injuries start piling up, or when guys go into major slumps, because he's going to give you what he's going to give you, and he's not prone to these 0 for 20s. He might give you a 4 for 20, but he might give you a 9 for 20 at the same time. And I mean, he's probably a ballpark specific guy. Like get him out of home games, and he's probably a better player. But I don't know why I'm a big fan of him, but I'm a big fan of Elliot Ramos. I don't know why. I have no idea why.
I like him too.
It's it's a weird thing. Maybe I dreamt he was great. It's probably a uniform.
Maybe.
See that Giants uniform, and I expect everybody that plays in the outfield to be Willie Mays. And if they start looking more and more like him, I start liking him more.
All right. Now, who should you rush to cut? The list of options is long. So
that's my favorite intro. That's my favorite.
Yeah. So one of the guys I've kind of watched all year is Randy Vasquez. I think I've had him on my team 1 or 2 times.
Yeah.
For a cup of coffee, just to see how he would do. He looked good early. He's a marginable starter in your starting lineup, an okay bench guy, but lately I think the party's over. I think he's back to what everybody kind of thought he was. In his last 7 starts, his ERA's gone from 2.68 to 4.56. Oh, hold on. There we go. Sad Randy Vasquez in that.
It is sad Randy Vasquez.
11 earned runs and 2 strikeouts in his last 2 starts, 6 2/3 innings combined with a whip of 3. Like I said, I think the party's over. He was an intriguing guy to watch the first 3 months. No more.
Yeah. Yeah, he was pretty good. He was pretty good until 2 or 3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
But we talk about this all the time. If you're not going to start him, why have him?
Exactly.
Frankly.
Exactly.
And then my guy who's trying to figure out how to get a base hit so he can get on base and steal bases, Chandler Simpson. I get it. He's got 19 stolen bases. I get it. I completely get it. And he's hitting 267, which is probably above league average. But 16 RBIs, 33. He doesn't get on base, and he doesn't walk. He doesn't get on base enough. He he was drafted because everybody thought he'd have 40 stolen bases by now. He hasn't hit a home run yet. And he's one thing. He's stolen bases. That's all he is. And my first pick was Alec Bohm, and I realized that would have been the second time I said to cut him, which means that's just a me problem probably. Then my second choice was Jacob Marseille, but his overall stats are far better. He's at 26 steals, but his other stats are far better than Simpson. And Simpson is what everybody worried about with Simpson, which is he's Herb Washington with a bat in his hand. So it's great. And then if you're not stealing and that's the only reason you're going to roster him, then patch it together. I would rather resist the temptation of putting him in my lineup because of a matchup and then be pissed off that he did absolutely nothing than even have him on my roster.
Okay. All righty. Next week, looking ahead.
Wait a minute. Yeah, exactly.
Why don't you go?
More guys that could be helping the Red Sox. Two of them, as a matter of fact. So Shane Drohan, who was in the bullpen and then injury forced him into the starting rotation. He's a 1-to-1 strikeout per inning guy. He's a 1.23 whip, a 3.12 ERA. He's only 30% owned, and he's at St. Louis, who's not hitting anything right now, and at Pittsburgh, who sometimes hits and sometimes doesn't. I mean, they hit Aaron Nola. They're not hitting Christopher Sanchez tonight. I mean, not that anybody does, but everybody hits Aaron Nola, apparently. I mean, St. Louis isn't hitting. Their pitching's regressed. I love that start at St. Louis. And Milwaukee toys with St. Louis like they're little kids. And these interdivisional games, Milwaukee seems to make everybody look foolish interdivisional. So I like Drohan as a quick pickup 2-start guy next week.
All right, Todd, our guest last week. Thanks for that. xERA, is that expected ERA? I'm still working on my analytics for Vasquez 7. That seems like a lot. Walker Buehler, we talked about him last week. He has continued pitching well. His last 3, 2-0, 15 2/3 innings, 1.72 ERA, 17 Ks. 2 starts at home next week. Arizona and Toronto come in. Ride the horse when he's pitching well. I say it almost every week.
Yeah. He is pitching well.
Maybe
not the strikeouts. So what we talked about last week, because I had him as a guy to add last week, and he's not striking people out like he was. He's pitching, but then Todd did chime in his underlying metrics, and his underlying metrics are really, really good.
Yeah. I love the throwback logos here with the Phillies and Rangers, by the way.
Yeah, I went throwback. I went turn back the clock week.
Yeah, take me back to high school.
I'm trying to blend the 1973 New York Knicks NBA championship with the 2026 New York Knicks NBA championship. I'm trying to blend all that together. That Phillies logo with the powder blue uniforms is the best logo that team has ever worn.
Yep.
They trot it out on Sundays, and it is a classic uniform.
And by the way, it looks like Dansby Swanson running around the bases after a home run.
That's possible.
Not sure. So,
well, the Mets are winning a baseball game.
So the Phils, 7 games next week.
Yeah, that's a fact. Dansby Swanson over.
Ride with the Philly offense, right?
Yeah.
Kansas City 1 game on a wraparound over the weekend because they have to have Friday off, which is sacrilegious.
If they have Saturday off.
What's that?
If they were home, they'd have Saturday off because there's a World Cup match here on Saturday.
Oh, okay. Is that why they're off on Friday? No.
They were off Friday 2 weeks ago because there was a World Cup match. And if they're up on Saturday, No, but they're in Kansas City. I don't know why. Maybe there's a match in Kansas City.
Oh, okay. All right. At Cincy for 3, at Detroit for 3. Favorable matchups. Have at it. Go Phillies. Get Bryson Stott in there, and you got anybody else to add that isn't already rostered, go get him for this week.
I mean, they got a nice little tidy 5 off Bubba Chandler tonight. Christopher Sanchez, 7 innings, 3 hits, 2 walks, no runs, 9 strikeouts. Just another day at the office for Christopher Sanchez, who should start the All-Star game since it's in Philadelphia. If it lines up, that'd be great. That'd be
Is
amazing.
Don Mattingly going to get that thing permanently?
How do you not?
They've responded to him. My God.
How do you not? I mean, he probably should. So for me, it's the Rangers. I mean, anybody that faces the Angels, even if they got to face Reed Detmers, so what? Houston, Hunter Brown's been crap since he came. He's not been great. He's not been starting pitcher 6 rank since he came back. He'll probably get there. Good time to get him. And they're in Arlington, and
yeah,
there's a lot of runs being scored in that ballpark right now. So I like the Rangers, and they're starting to hit. And then another. Speaking of the Rangers, I'd put my eyeball on Jock Peterson for the next day or so because he's on a Jock Peterson tear.
That's scary. And
then you're going to pick him up, and you're going to be all excited. He's going to go 0 for 31, and you're going to be like, "Why did they pick this guy up?" But
yes,
he is in one of his Jock Peterson. Just to remind everybody, I'm still in baseball runs right now. I mean, he homered again. He homered again tonight. He's got 14 homers and 31 RBIs. And he's hit 241, which is high for Jock Peterson. He probably has about 6 of those home runs in the last 8 days.
That is pretty high for him.
But back to the Mattingly thing. So it's kind of the move that the Yankees need to make, right? Is like, the team is good and they're going to be okay. And I think that part of the Rob Thompson thing was that it's just they didn't have the fire that they needed to play with. So they thought the easiest way to get the fire started was to let him go. And he handled it immensely well, as good as you could ever possibly handle it. And Mattingly's success might be a byproduct of they're that good in the first place.
Yeah.
But his success could also be because he started saying a different thing. And he was talking a different way to that team that maybe either added pressure or took pressure off. I don't know which it is. The players aren't really talking about it because they're not going to talk bad about Topper. They're just not. They loved him.
Yeah.
Like all the players love Topper. They're not going to speak badly about him. They may, if you really listen to what they say, they may be saying stuff about Mattingly, how he's different than Thompson, and they may not be. But they've been pretty professional about this entire transition. They're just playing really good baseball. They're playing really good ball.
Yeah.
And that's with Andrew Painter sucking and having to get sent to AAA and Aaron Nola stealing money.
Yes, he is.
I mean, just literally stealing money, like literally stealing money from the Phillies. And without Sanchez and Wheeler coming back, and when Wheeler came back, Wheeler's back, like back.
Yeah.
Like Wheeler's back to, like right now, probably top 10, but closing in on top 5. He's been phenomenal. Like right back to where he was before he got hurt. And you got those 2 guys stacked up in a series. You're going to win 2 out of 3 the way they're going.
Yeah.
And Duran doesn't blow any. Duran doesn't blow any. He blew 1, but and Kruk jinxed him. So, but I mean, he's great on the road. Lights out as a closer. So they got to figure out their bullpen a little bit, and they probably need. They signed the glue guy Tommy Pham, so maybe they're thinking about getting him some at bats in Lehigh Valley for the Iron Pigs, and they'll get him up and get him in the rotation. And I mean, I don't think if Brandon Marsh keeps this going, it'll be the upset of all upsets because he's having a Brady Anderson kind of year where you're thinking maybe the drug tests aren't working, but he's making unbelievable contact. I mean, Bohm is Bohm. Harper's having a really good year. Schwarber's off the charts. Turner's been okay. Like, they're really not clicking as a lineup. They're still scoring 5 or 6 runs a night. But they're a terrifying team.
I'll tell you, terrifying. Detroit just hit another home run, 9-1, just in case you're keeping score. I opened the show with it. I got to close it with it.
Let's get to a 7-game losing streak, and let's see what the fucking Supreme Court judge that's never going to get fired, Cashman's actually going to do about it as we start rolling into the All-Star break.
All right. Now, next week, scheduled to be here, Scott White, CBS Sports Fantasy Baseball writer extraordinaire, host of our off-season mock drafts, which we enjoy doing.
Yeah, the heartbeat of CBSSports.com.
Yeah, so join us next Tuesday, 8 p.m. for Scott White.
That'll be fun. It'll be a totally different show because.
Can we still swear?
Damn, I hope so.
Yeah, you have to clear that. We'll have to figure that one out.
Well, I sat in on. I did participate. They did our last mock. They did live. Him and Kevin Towers and Frank Stample did live on their podcast. And I don't remember them cursing.
All right. We'll have to work on that.
Yeah. I better start working on it. I better start working on it fucking tonight.
My kids will be thrilled.
Exactly.
If I were to start working on that. All right. Next Tuesday, 8 o'clock, Scott White, CBS. And with that,
our swear jar paid for 2 weeks in Bethany for a friggin' ocean for a beach house.
And hair transplants for us.
All my contribution.
Very good. Congratulations. Well done. All right. See you next week.